The Cellar. This first story takes us to Bengaluru. Bengaluru, also called Bangalore, is the capital and largest city of the southern Indian state of Karnataka. It has a population of more than 8 million and a metropolitan population of around 15 million, making it India's third most populous city and fourth most populous urban agglomeration. Bengaluru is known for being the center of India's high-tech industry. The city is also known for its many parks and bustling nightlife. It was Monday, March 25, 2024. A 24-year-old resident of Bengaluru named Yogesh made the decision to head over to Bengaluru's Sampangali area to visit a friend of his named Murali. Murali at the time was at work at the CNS Bike Service Center. Yogesh figured it was as good of a time as ever to take his two-wheeler over and have his friend Murali wash it at the service center. From all reports, Murali washed Yogesh's bike as the friends chatted it up. Following the cleaning of the bike, Murali took the electric blow dryer that was meant for the vehicles and started to playfully use it on his friend, Yogesh. He would first use it on his friend's face, and then proceed to use it on his back as Yogesh tried to turn away from him. Now, it's not entirely clear how things escalated the way that they did, but from what's been reported, at some point, Murali used the air blower near Yogesh's backside. It didn't take long for things to go from playful to full-blown horrifying, as the warm air that was being pumped out of the blow dryer entered Yogesh's rectum and began to fill up the space inside. This caused Yogesh's abdomen to expand rapidly, and he soon collapsed to the ground. After collapsing to the ground, Murali proceeded to pick his friend up, and he immediately rushed him to a nearby hospital. At the hospital, doctors were able to determine that due to the high pressure of the blow dryer, massive damage had been done to Yogesh's intestines. Doctors stated Yogesh needed an emergency operation if he wanted to survive, and he was immediately taken to a surgery suite for the procedure. Following the operation, Yogesh was placed in intensive care and continued to fight for his life for the next couple days. But on Wednesday, March 27th, Yogesh's body finally gave out. It appeared his body failed to respond to the surgery and treatment, and he would pass away at only 24 years of age. Following the tragic event, a case was filed at the Sampangali police station under Section 304, culpable homicide, of the Indian Penal Code. From all reports, police would end up arresting Murali while they await for the post-mortem reports to know exactly how Yogesh's organs became damaged. A bizarre and horrible way for anyone to leave this world. My thoughts go out to Yogesh and all of his family and friends. This next story takes place in San Jose, and not San Jose, California, but San Jose in the Philippines. San Jose is a first-class municipality in the province of Occidental Mindoro, Philippines. It has a population of around 153,267. San Jose has the province's largest commercial port and airport, as well as the most banking, business, dining, and commercial establishments in Occidental Mindoro, and has become a center of trade in the Mimaropa region. This story in particular takes place in a small village in the region known as Madugang Village. It was October 26, 2020, and Lieutenant Christian Bollock, the chief of the San Jose Police Force, was involved in a raid within Madugang Village. That raid was performed to break up an illegal cockfighting ring. Cockfighting, locally termed sabong, remains a popular pastime all throughout the Philippines. Both illegal and legal cockfights occur, and legal cockfights are held in sanctioned cockpits every week, whereas illegal ones, called tupada or tigbakay, are held in secluded cockpits where authorities struggle to locate and subsequently raid them. Now, if you don't know what cockfighting is, it involves two gamecocks set up to fight each other. Such birds often have their legs fitted with metal spurs or razors. The fight will typically end once one of the animals is critically injured or has their life completely extinguished. As the raid unfolded, Lieutenant Christian Bollock and his team began making arrests and rounding up the numerous birds. One of the particular birds Lieutenant Bollock picked up had an extremely sharp razor, otherwise known as a gaff. As he scooped the bird up, the razor sliced deeply into one of Lieutenant Bollock's legs. He immediately winced in pain as he dropped to the ground and his pants started to soak with blood. Other officers on scene attempted to slow the blood loss by tying a cloth tightly around Bollock's leg, but reports have stated that they believe they tied off his leg in the wrong area. As Lieutenant Bollock continued to lose blood, they would soon rush him from the scene. He would be taken to a nearby hospital, but it was too late. As it was ultimately determined, the bird had caught Lieutenant Bollock's leg, and in doing so, it sliced straight through his femoral artery. The femoral artery is a large blood vessel that provides oxygenated blood to lower extremity structures. You have one femoral artery in each leg, so each artery is responsible for carrying blood to that side of the body. If the artery is cut, the blood loss can be absolutely catastrophic, sometimes in mere minutes. Following the raid, 3 farmers who had been taking part in the illegal fights were arrested, and 3 others were being sought out by the police. Authorities would also seize 7 roosters, a pair of gaffs, and 550 pesos, about $10 in cash. The Northern Samar Police Provincial Chief Arnel Lapud would express his sincere sorrow over Bollock's passing following the raid. He was quoted as saying, "I have a heavy heart as we have lost a brother who sacrificed his own life in the name of service." The Philippine National Police grieves the untimely death of Lieutenant Bollock and extends its deepest sympathy to his family and relatives. My deepest condolences also go out to Lieutenant Bollock's friends and family. His life was ultimately lost in the most senseless and tragic way. I tell his story so that he may be remembered for the service he gave to the people of the Philippines. Michael A. Kosanovich, age 21, was born in New Brunswick. New Brunswick is a city in Middlesex County in the U.S. state of New Jersey. The city is both a college town, the home of Rutgers University, the state's largest university, and a commuter town for residents commuting to New York City within the New York metropolitan area. The city is located on the southern banks of the Raritan River in the heart of the Raritan Valley region. Michael would grow up and eventually graduate from Saraville War Memorial High School. Saraville War Memorial High School is a 4-year public high school located in the Parlin section of Saraville in Middlesex County, New Jersey. As a young man in his early 20s, Michael loved skateboarding and riding ATVs and dirt bikes. He absolutely loved getting his hands dirty and having a good time riding with his friends. Michael also loved traveling into New York City to spend time and do what any 21-year-old his age would be looking to do in the big, sprawling city. It was around 9:45 p.m. on Friday, December 6, 2019, in South Jamaica, Queens, New York. According to reports, Michael Kosanovich was interested in potentially purchasing a Lexus IS 300 luxury sedan. So as he was walking down a street in Queens, he happened to spot a red and gray colored model of the vehicle. Being that it was a car he was very interested in one day owning, he went up to both vehicles to take a look at them. As he was inspecting the cars, he would eventually step between the two vehicles. To give you the full picture, the gray Lexus was parked directly behind the red Lexus, leaving just enough space between the front of the one car and the trunk of the other. As Michael continued inspecting the trunk on the red Lexus, tragedy would strike. According to police reports, the gray Lexus would out of nowhere lurch forward. As it did, it pinned 21-year-old Michael between the two vehicles. Numerous bystanders in the area would see the scene unfold, and many tried to rush to Michael's aid. They would manage to push the gray Lexus backwards in order to free Michael, but this was only a temporary reprieve. Before anyone could get Michael out of the way, the gray Lexus would once again lurch forward, crushing Michael between the two vehicles. Those now involved in the tragic set of events would work tirelessly to free Michael a second time. This time would end up being successful, and an ambulance was soon called to the scene. Michael would be rushed to the Jamaica hospital, where doctors worked tirelessly to try and help save the young man's life. But sadly, just one day later, Michael's body would finally give out. The damage was simply far too severe, and Michael would succumb to the numerous internal injuries he had suffered. So the question ultimately becomes, what caused the car to lurch forward suddenly like it did? Well, according to police reports, the owner of the vehicle in question accidentally started the car via a remote control. Now, in the case of someone using a remote to start a vehicle, a remote should not be able to work unless the vehicle itself is in park. I also read via the Fox News reporting of this incident that a Lexus spokesperson did come out and ultimately make a statement about the incident. That person stated that the remote start feature was not offered on their 2002 vehicles. With that said, it ultimately means that the car starter that was installed on this 2002 gray Lexus IS 300 had to be one that was purchased and added after the initial purchase of the vehicle. Now, I wish I could say that I have clear answers as to exactly what went wrong to cause this tragic story to unfold, but that was all the information I was able to find. Michael Kosinovich was only 21 years old, and he had so much life left ahead of him, but tragically, it was cut far too short. My condolences go out to Michael Kosinovich and all of his friends and family. Yulia Sharko is a 21-year-old account manager who lived in the village of Staro Selo, Belarus. To give you an idea of where Belarus is, Belarus, officially the Republic of Belarus, is a landlocked country located in Eastern Europe. It is bordered by Russia to the east and northeast, Ukraine to the south, Poland to the west, and Lithuania and Latvia to the northwest. It was August 31st, 2019, and Yulia Sharko was reportedly celebrating her 21st birthday with friends. Following a day out, Yulia would return to her home around 4:30 p.m. At the time, the mother of two had her 2-year-old daughter with her in the car, while her 4-year-old was at home with her husband, Artur. Yulia parked her BMW E34 in the driveway of her home and stepped out of the vehicle. Now, it's unclear where her daughter was in the car at the time, but for some reason, Yulia went around to the passenger side front window of the car. The window of the car was reportedly around halfway down at the time. From there, Yulia leaned over and reached inside the window in order to grab her 2-year-old and remove her from the car. As she began removing her daughter, pure tragedy would strike. The 2-year-old would accidentally hit the automatic window switch, causing the window to close while Yulia's head was still inside the car. The window would quickly close on her neck, acting like a garrote. The mother would begin panicking frantically as she tried her best to free herself. Her arms were stuck outside the window, and she attempted to pull the window back down, but it wouldn't budge. It wouldn't be long before Yulia blacked out, completely losing consciousness with her daughter still in the car. Now, it's unclear how long Yulia was trapped in the window of her car, but sometime later, her husband would come out to see his wife trapped and clearly in a horrifying predicament. Artur desperately did all he could to break the jammed window, and soon he had his wife free from the car's clutches. He carried her lifeless body away from the car and immediately called for emergency services. Yulia was soon rushed to the nearby Brest Regional Hospital, where doctors immediately did all they could to save the young mother of two. Yulia would put up a fight for numerous days, but tragically, she never regained consciousness. She would pass away on September 8, 2019. She ultimately suffered from clamped arteries, which led to a lack of oxygen to the brain. This caused massive amounts of brain damage, and by the time she was freed from the car, it was most likely too late for her. Ultimately, Yulia's story is one of pure tragedy. I hope in sharing it, it leads to more people being aware of the possibly dangerous scenarios they put themselves in. My sincerest condolences go out to Yulia Sharko, her husband, her family, and the 2 young lives she heartbreakingly left behind. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. If you enjoyed the content, please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps the channel continue to grow. Also, you can check the description box below and find the link to my merch store. Tons of awesome designs, and the proceeds help fund the channel. For those of you that are interested, I have a Cellar Dwellers membership tier for the channel. It's $2.99 a month and comes with some pretty cool perks, so if that interests you, then please go check it out. I also have that linked in the description box below. If you'd like to submit a real-life scary story that you would like featured on an episode on the channel, please do so using the email linked in the description box below. As always, I do all the research, writing, recording, and editing for the channel myself, so anything that you do to support the channel is greatly appreciated. Until next time, I will see you all again as we head back into the cellar.